Yeah.
Sue, are you ready? You ready to go? Okay, welcome. I'd like to call the February 23rd, 2026 meeting of the Edenton Town Council to order. The first agenda item is under our special meeting section, and this is the annexation ordinance for 316 Old Hertford Road. Passing the ordinance is the final step for the annexation request. And the way we have looked at this, a lot of times we don't have people who voluntarily ask to be annexed, and this property owner has asked to be annexed, and that adds to our tax base and it also adds to our population. The property will remain zoned R10 upon annexation, and the annexation runs on a fiscal year, so that will be effective June 30th of 2026. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance. We've talked about it several times. Unless there's any discussion, I'll entertain a motion to enter the annexation ordinance known as 26-01. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of that annexation?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Corey, you and Dwayne can go at it.
Thank you, Mayor.
The next agenda item is the 2025 local water supply plan. We need to pass a resolution which officially adopts the fiscal year 25 plan. If this is seems to be a new one for you, it is a new one. In the past, we've always had a plan, and we've never been required to pass a resolution adopting that plan, but NCDEQ has asked that we begin passing resolutions to approve it. Do y'all have any questions of Corey about the need for this, or if there have been any changes in the plan or anything? It's relatively straightforward. We always have a plan. It's just the first time we've been called upon to adopt a resolution approving the plan. There appearing to be no questions of Corey or staff, I'd entertain a motion to adopt the 2025 Town of Edenton local water supply plan.
Motion.
We've got a motion and a second.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of this body passing the resolution adopting the 2025 local water supply plan, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Corey, we have approved that resolution. The next matter does not require any action on part of the full board. We have a new executive director, Denise Mercer-Williams of the Edenton Housing Authority. She has recommended that Percy Foxwell be reappointed to another 5-year term. Mr. Foxwell's current term expires at the end of this month. He has worked very hard on that board and is a good member. I don't know if you want
I want to say a few
to
words
add
about
anything about
Percy.
Mr.
He is a
Foxwell.
fine man.
He is.
Like Denise Williams says, he's an asset to the new Edenton Housing Authority. He's quite the participating member. He has somewhat of a intellectual curiosity, always asking questions. Very knowledgeable, and I'm so happy he's seeking another term on that board.
Based on my personal knowledge of him, his professional reputation, and what I hear from Councilman Dixon and Councilman Miller, and also from the Housing Authority, I will hereby reappoint Percy Foxwell to another 5-year term to the new Edenton Housing Authority Board. Next, we move to our committee meetings. The first matter is a matter before the Administrative Committee and its chairman, Craig Miller, and this is a fire chief recruitment update. And I don't know who's going to take this, Craig or Corey. You got it?
I'll take it. You can fill in. Mayor, for informational purposes, our fire chief, Billy Bass, will be retiring at the end of May. Applications for this position will begin being accepted this Friday, February 27th. In preparation for the upcoming department vacancy, town staff have taken the initiative to contract with the Mercer Group Associates, a management consulting firm, to assist them in recruiting interested candidates from a much broader geographical area. In addition, the Mercer Group will assist staff in maintaining an efficient recruitment schedule to help ensure a smooth, effective, and orderly transition throughout the hiring process. There's no action required by council on this particular issue.
It's just an update.
Did you want to add anything, Corey?
And like you said, Councilman Miller, we will start accepting applications or the Mercer Group will, starting February 27th.
Right, which is Friday.
So they will just send you a list of ones they recommend that you start interviewing?
They will do some of the initial screening,
Yeah.
because, we'll very likely get flooded with just all kinds of interested candidates, and they'll at least help with establishing a core group that, at least has that education and institutional knowledge around fire and emergency services.
Corey, this will be your decision, of course,
Yes.
as the fire chief.
That's correct.
Corey, when will that be posted Friday, and how will it be posted?
So interested candidates, and I will try to get this out as soon as we get the brochure together with them. We've been working on the draft, but we will share what the Mercer group puts together, which will have the contact information for any interested parties to submit their information to.
Will it be on our website, or somebody have to come pick it up at town hall?
We
or
will
on
put it
social
on
media?
the website and social media, but the Mercer group will also start their searches.
The Mercer Group is based out of Georgia, right?
Yes.
Or Adams, Georgia. Are there satellite offices like Raleigh, Charlotte?
There are, if you remember, the Mercer Group was a part of the town manager
That's what I
selection
thought.
process, and Ellis Hankins
Okay.
out of Chapel Hill helped.
He's
get-
retired now, though, right?
I think so, but I think he does try to help some.
So you may see him again?
The gentleman we've been working with is Jeff Hill.
Okay.
And just to remind the public, we don't hire and fire, you do.
That's
correct.
That is you complete, we hire you, you hire everybody else, so we're not hiring a fire chief.
That's right.
Yeah, and there's a misconception
There's a
about that.
total
Some-
misconception,
Sometimes
yeah.
in the general community, and sometimes on this body itself, there are a few members that don't understand that. We are a manager-managed town as opposed to either mayor-managed town or council-managed town. We set policy and set big picture stuff,
We,
and the day-to-day operations are
right, we don't
managed
get
by-
into the operational day-to-day like you just said.
Right. We could say, well, we would like a, candidate that's strong on this, but that's about as far as we can go.
That's right.
Okay?
And I have full faith that our town manager, that he can pick a great person.
And also alongside the Mercer Group.
Yes.
I've been impressed with their work. in the
Corey, do
past.
you think you'll have anybody internal that might apply?
I think so. I think we'll see a mix of internal candidates. I think we'll see some regional candidates as well. But as we're kind of growing and evolving, I think it'll be interesting to also see what type of candidates within the southeast with certain, training for larger areas that also make good sense for us.
It also appears, more feeding the revive, that more people are interested in us now. The word's getting out.
We've seen that across the board.
Yeah.
Most of our vacancies.
Yeah.
With this applicants.
All right, well, I appreciate it. Look forward to continued updates on that, Corey, as that progresses. Next, we've got the Utilities Committee. We've asked Hunter Chamberlain to come forward tonight just to give us a general update on the Next Grid project. Hunter, come on forward. How are you doing tonight, Hunter?
Doing well, Councilman, yourself?
Doing great. Thanks for all your hard work with this weather and everything, you and David both.
Absolutely,
Appreciate it.
absolutely.
And because of a lot of the questions that we've had as we've started this process, which hasn't been very long, I mean, we're probably 90 days into this.
To actually receiving the meters, yeah.
And so I wanted to get Hunter in so we can at least try to get some visuals and kind of update on what staff's doing, and just a couple of things that we've run into that's new to us and that Hunter's jumped right in front of.
So what we have here is, this is just a high-level view of some of the transformers in town. So NextGrid not only does our meters communicate and tell us about our transformers. So on this page, you can see this is bulk of the town area, and we come down into Oak Hill, but this goes through our whole system. But this was just a quick snapshot. Susan, if you'll jump to the next page.
That is a ton of,
It's a ton.
man,
It's a ton. So then we go in here, every black dot or blue circle with a black line through it represents a meter. And the meters are below the transformers. So our transformers are our green triangles. And so this shows all our meters in town. And now jump one more, sir. So now this shows where the transformer can tell, or, well, the meters can tell you what transformer it is based on the loads coming off the meter, the phase balancing between every phase. And so we can tell you, you know, hey, this transformer is being utilized, it's being underutilized, you need to downsize it, you need to upsize it, things like that. If we get outages, we'll be able to tell, if we have those 4 meters off, hey, probably we have a transformer issue, instead of having to search the whole line to find out what's going on.
Hunter, does this, do away with the need? I know people will still call, but you're not relying upon me to call and say, hey, Hunter, 107 West, Gale, I'm out. There's still, people still call, and I'll probably still
Absolutely.
call.
And we encourage them to still call.
Mm-hmm.
We have had a couple instances already where somebody's been out to dinner, the text comes in, we get a text and it says, hey, this meter's out of power. We already know there's an outage that's occurred. We send a truck and start rolling it to that call before they've ever even called in and said, hey, we're out. Especially in that instance that I just said where you may lose all 4 of those meters. You know it's more than just a main breaker issue or something like that. A lot of times you'll have a breaker trip and that meter's not gonna be affected. So if we get customers that call in and say, hey, I don't have any power, but we can see that the meter's still on, now we can encourage them that you go walk into your breaker room, let's try that breaker switch one time and see if it comes back on, saving trucks rolling in that outage.
And this is totally different than it used to be. I mean,
100%.
Yeah, this, I think
Oh,
this
this
is
is great.
absolutely
This is
amazing. I
fantastic.
mean,
What's the useful life of the transformer?
In perfect conditions, I mean, I wanna say somewhere between 20 to 30 years.
Okay.
Now, that's a big gap there,
Yeah.
but we've pushed ours, we've pushed a lot of them to that age range, but we also, one lightning strike, and you may lose the transformer.
Yeah.
So,
Does it warn you that it's getting of age? I mean, any kind of, no warning.
so it
you look
doesn't.
at it and tell.
Some of them you can.
Kind of faded, is that what?
And one thing we're taking, you know, obviously we have our utility cloud where we do asset management. This is all tying back into that, and we are trying to start getting nameplates where we can put in, because you can put manufacturer and tag information in on NextGrid, so we'll know, hey, this transformer is 20 years old. So then we'll have a little bit better idea of if it failed, it might be time to just go ahead and bring a new can instead of trying to switch it back and get it going again. But if you'll jump to the next one, Susan. This is when we get into the transformer information, and you can see right there, this one's running at about 90% efficiency, which is great. That's what we want to see. We've got some out there, we've seen them as low as, I think we saw one the other day, it was like 27%, where it's been underutilized for a long time, but we never know that. You know, person can come in and say, we're gonna put this much load on a transformer, and they never actually do it. So this gives us the ability to, this is where NextGrid sales pitch to us was, they'll help us to save money. Because if you have a that 27% transformer is still sucking the juice to use it. So it's costing us money on the wholesale side. But if we can start utilizing our transformers correctly, then we'll see a reduction in that long term. And one more slide, I think. This is when we get into the meter side. And we can see everything from the voltage to the power factor to the meter temperature, which is why we're here tonight, really. And then on into the transformer, their hourly usage, their monthly usage, and that's things that we hope to be able to share with the public and our customers as we get that portal going. But it's been really nice for us so far. We've had a couple, obviously we had that cold spell. We had a couple of people call in, hey, what's going on? We went out and looked. You could see right when they were going over there and turning that thermostat up a little more, and it showed right here on the graph. So that was just a brief, how NextGrid's being utilized so far. Tonight though was more about the meter temperatures. Now we have the NextGrid meters sense temperature on them. They have 5 spots, each of the 4 lugs, and then one in the back of the meter that senses temperature. We have this policy was best practice set up for the issues. We've had a few of them so far where right now our meter cuts off at 311 degrees. We've had a few of them cut off, and what we have to do is we have to let the customer know there's an issue in that meter base. It's from years of meters coming in and out, older meter bases, especially me and Corey have talked about it. There's smaller 60 amp meter bases. We got a lot of old homes. That meter base was, what you needed 30, 40 years ago. Now, you see a traditional 125, 200 amp services on homes, and we're having issues with those meters overheating and cutting off in the middle of the night. During the winter storm, we had one that a customer had a couple heating units running in the house as well as an oven, and some things were, they were trying to stay warm, but they were pushing too much on that meter. It made it to that 311 degrees, and so it's a safety disconnect built inside that meter so that it cuts itself off and it won't catch the house on fire.
At what point is it right around there it starts catching on? When does it catch on fire?
I wish I could answer that question, because we've been wondering that, but you think 311 degrees, it's gotta be getting close.
Well, and, I think such a safety factor.
That's
you know,
right.
even though people don't like their meters to click off, they certainly would rather have that to happen than a fire and somebody get killed.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
think it's just remarkable.
And how does if like one particular meter is overheating a lot, is that a sign that there's something wrong with the meter or something wrong with the electrical system within the house?
It could be, I don't wanna throw a high number up there, 95% of the time, which is a high number, it is it's the meter base itself, the stobs that hold in the meter. If they get spread out a little bit or something like that, it sits there and it has an arc gap, and it's just sitting there sparkling. It's a loose connection, and any kind of loose connection builds heat. So it just sits there, and over time, the metal becomes brittle, things like that. You'll pull a meter out, they'll snap right off with you. We've had a couple of those happen where we've had to take it upon ourselves to go ahead and, get with the customer about getting them replaced, but we're setting this in place so that we have 2 levels. We have a warning level that comes in at 220 degrees. When that warning happens, we want to notify the customer, hey, you've had this high temperature alarm happen. We need to get together about getting this meter base changed out. So we give them time to resolve that issue. Once we hit that 311 degrees and it cuts off, really it becomes a safety factor of we can't put this meter back in until this issue has been corrected. So that's why we're trying to catch everybody at the 220 so that we can have those issues resolved before they ever cut off.
This is all with the new meters though that are going in.
Yes, sir.
So have you found anything negative from the ones that have been put in yet? That really just surprised you?
The only negative that we've seen so far is just communications. And I think that's something that will be resolved the more and more we get built out.
You mean how people read
How the meters communicate to each other.
oh,
So that's how they communicate through each other back to the home base. And right now, we have one home base. We're in the process, they're supposed to be here Tuesday, they're gonna be here next Monday to install our next base. We're gonna be up to 10 when the full build out is done. So then we should have more blanket coverage for the communication with the meters.
Are the meter readers taking on other responsibilities?
They are, the meter readers are gonna become much more, which even the term has changed previously, but meter technicians.
Excuse me. Yeah,
You know, there's a lot more technical side with this.
Yeah.
They give out daily alarms, so it's gonna be a lot more investigation and, you know, let's catch a problem before it's a worse problem. There's not gonna be as much, you know, every day we're going out to the house reading the meter, but we will still have to have somebody out there that can check into those high temperature alarms,
Right.
check into, they give meter tampering alarms, they give alarms for every time a meter's pulled, so, you know, there's a whole lot going on,
And these new meters are much more accurate than the old ones,
Absolutely.
is that correct?
absolutely. And it's nice because too, you know, when a customer calls in about a high usage or something, we can pull it up and show them an hour for hour basis.
Right.
Where, you know, the way it is right now, it's 30 days, and we don't know what happened in between.
How many municipalities our size have this technology now? I wonder.
I would say maybe 50%.
50%.
Yeah, not all of them do. I know there's some smaller ones. Scotland Neck has just jumped on board.
Okay.
There's also, you know, your big boys, they all got them, but
Yeah.
we're definitely moving in the right direction with this.
We'll just keep everything at 30 days instead of some being 38, some being 27. You know, that's, a lot of people complain about that because it affects people's bills.
And they budget.
So it will stay accurate.
Yeah, so we should be within I'd say 28 to 32 day
I got you.
kind of cycle.
Good.
You know,
That's
like
good.
February
That's
4th
huge.
is gonna be short, but it'll allow us to pull those readings.
And Bob, that brings up a good point. I thought about maybe giving a public announcement a couple of weeks ago, but this would be just as good as a public announcement. I would encourage everybody, you know, high electric bills are on everybody's mind with the winter weather that we've had. I would encourage everybody to look into the budget bill.
I agree. We do it.
I've got it.
It's huge.
And the way that works, if our citizens don't understand how that works, they'll just take you, last 12 months of bills, average it out, and whatever that average per month is, that's what you pay.
Some months I feel like I hit the lottery.
Yeah, and then other months, you don't. But it's certainly nice when you have those high usage months in the winter and summer to have a bill that you can handle. So I would encourage everybody to look into it and do the math and see if it would be worth your while.
Percentage actually does use that. Very little or?
I don't wanna tell you a wrong answer. We've got a lot of customers in town that probably use it more versus our overall system, which is in town and the county.
Piedmont Natural Gas does that too, does an average
I like it.
budget. And that works out.
But it is a very useful tool, and now that, you know, we're gonna see a lot more consistent data, it'll start to make a lot more sense for customers to do this. I would, you know, encourage that residents find out, you know, if their meter's been changed out, if they have this, you know, there will be a customer
Good to
portion.
get that out though and
Yes.
post it a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things we had talked about, Hunter and I talked about this last week, we want to get a little further along in this, so customers actually have some data to kind of see what their trends are, and then see if it makes sense for them. But we are considering doing kind of a video update
Good.
on that billing option.
And when we get to the customer portal, it'll also give the customer the ability to pop up there and look. And, you know, just say, all right, I'm 15 days into the month, how much have I used this month? You know, then it'll give them the flexibility to say, I'm doing good.
Cut
let's-
back the thermostat.
Exactly.
Cut off all the lights for a week.
Tell them they-
Well,
No
Bob,
drive.
maybe we could get Hunter to go Hollywood on this and maybe do a public service announcement, the two of us, maybe sit in here one day and do that. I'll talk to Hunter about
Tell them
that.
all the goods.
Sounds good.
So, you know, we somewhat crossed this bridge before when we implemented the Harmony system for the water meters, and this is really kind of following suit with that, but, I mean, customers had things that they didn't know and we didn't know, and so, you know, from 1 AM to 5:30 in the morning, you should see 0 water use, right? Typically. So, I mean, we're able to call folks and say, hey, you know, looks like something's running. you know, and they find out it's a
I think
toilet
that's
flat
huge.
or.
Well, that happened to me recently, I got a call.
So, you know, when you talk about what these meter technicians will do, well, the public works folks, you know, every morning, the very first thing, the building department does is review any leak alarms, any alarms we've got for the water side, and we'll start doing that with electric. We'll call these meter technicians, and give them a list of addresses, things we've got going on, try to send someone out there. But, you know, if, you know, you see electric use that's just consistent after everyone's gone to bed and thinking like, something's not quite right, and so it is an improvement for the.
How long does it take us to learn how much we spent? Like, we have a cold spell, and everyone gets hit with these big bills. How long does it take us to learn how much we bought?
Monthly.
We learn it monthly? Okay, good.
Yeah, we get a wholesale purchase power
Okay, good.
price, an invoice every month.
Kind of shocking too.
And those peak shavers are still working, I can't believe it, I mean.
Still working.
Yeah, I'm wearing out, to be sure they're wearing out, we got those right when I got here.
Well, I think, you know, I think Hunter's done a really good job implementing these two best management practices for different tiers for staff, because this is gonna happen at 2 o'clock in the morning when temperatures are getting the lowest, and now that person that's on call that's coming in knows what to do based on the circumstances. And it's, you know, that's great, but for us, you know, one of the things that we talked about was knowing the outages are isolated, so that's huge, you know, if you see a whole string of transformers out there, knows we got something, you know, more serious, but, particularly for us is, these transformers are staying energized at their design input. Doesn't mean that's what they're sending out. So that's where those efficiency ratings to try to say, hey, we need to look at anything that's outside of 75%. Something's, you know, if we're spending all that money energizing this large transformer and it's only feeding out 5% of what it's designed for, we need to take that thing down and do something different, because we're keeping it warm, we're keeping it charged, it's there and it's going on the bill. So,
The excitation of those transformers is more than you would think.
So can you add something to that if it's not producing much? I mean, you can say, hey, we gotta do,
We would step the transformer size up.
Step it up or step it down, whatever the
That's right.
numbers are
I
showing.
gotcha.
That's right.
You keep quite a reserve of
We
transformers.
do. We try to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see
We
them
try.
sitting out there.
We try to.
No one's gonna steal those, they're pretty heavy.
No, yeah. I wouldn't, yeah.
so I know we've asked about how many meters have been installed at the last few council meetings. We got an updated count on.
I checked before I came in today, we were at 1644. So, right there at 1644, we're hoping that we're obviously, we're reading meters this week, so we try not to do any installations while we're reading, just to make things a little less messy, but when we finish, next week, we're hoping to get out there and get some more in. We're hoping when this next antenna gets in, it gives us the ability to get on out of town a little bit. I think we have 2 more cycles right in town to finish, and then we're gonna head towards, Oak Hill area.
Robin Lane, that'd be good.
For
We're
the
headed that
public-
way.
for the public's interest, what appliance in your house and household utilizes the most electricity? Clothes dryer?
Electric range or a clothes
Electric.
dryer?
Electric, or clothes dryer?
Yes, sir.
And just to give you an idea, I mean, this is not a staggering number of customers that are getting these type of alarms, these type of critical faults. You know, we may have changed 10.
Well, I think it's been 3 that have been the critical. We've had probably 10 that were the warning level that we did catch.
Yeah. So, I mean, 10 of 1,644 meters, I mean, as we kind of go through that. And just to give the general public kind of an idea, Hunter and I talked about this, you know, it could range anywhere from $350 to $450, depending on, you know, who the electrician is that changes that out. But the key to that is from an inspection standpoint, that's not something the homeowner can just install. It's gonna require for our safety and theirs, that it is installed by a licensed electrician. So we wanted to kind of get that out as well. But if it does happen, then, you know, we're not gonna turn it on after you've changed it out yourself. We've got to have a little bit of reassurance assurance there. And that's really to protect the homeowner.
Okay, any more questions of Hunter? Hunter, like I said earlier, thanks for everything you do, and thank you for, bringing us up to date on this and, making sure our technology is where it's supposed to be.
Absolutely, thank you,
We
Mayor.
appreciate you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Okay, there being no further business of the Edenton Town Council this evening, I will call this meeting adjourned.
Nick,